big fucking purchases. That's what I want to take a look at right now. I am Soul Dr. Nick, former medical doctor turned soul doctor, and I'm here on Big Island in Hawaii and contemplating, not just contemplating, in the deep process of buying a car, buying a used car. And they say that buying a car is the second biggest purchase you'll make after buying a house. And how is it these days that those two purchases usually take so little time, are so facilitated with so much borrowed money that we lose sight of what it is? And I've even done the process of taking out the cash for a car and going, wow, that's a lot of cash. That feels hefty. And in doing the process, there's been so many learnings and lessons, especially doing it in a country where I've never done it before, a place I've never done it before, working in systems I've never worked with before. And even though it's so similar to Canada, it is also so different. And I want to explore that because I'll go back to Canada, where when we were buying houses during the frenzy in the Vancouver market, you were supposed to buy a house after seeing it for only a few minutes with no inspection, getting a mortgage, getting everything taken care of, and then this is the thing that you'd be tied to for 25, 30 years, spending most of your money and not really fully understanding implications of the mortgage or the down payment or the penalties for getting out of the mortgage, which we had to learn when we sold our house after a year and some, and how to actually be with the energy of all that flow, be with the heaviness sometimes, the weight, the gravity of the situation, being okay to be disruptive and look at a place multiple times, being with the whole idea of going from non-homeowner to homeowner to what does that really mean? And really exploring this topic. I often would spend more time analyzing a $10 Amazon purchase to optimize it than to take a look at how do I actually want to look at homes? What do I really value? What matters? What's the layout? Not just the square footage, not just the number of bathrooms, bedrooms, not just the ... that they measure, but what's the feel for it? What's the vibe? And then how to get that more and more clear. And I say that because in buying a car, it has helped me to see, because I went from many different things. I wanted a full off-wheeler. I wanted 8 seats. I wanted captain's chairs in the middle. I wanted high-end features in an older car. I wanted reliability. I wanted comfort. I wanted all these different things. And then I still wanted to be at a price point that I was able to do and justify to my beloved. And then how do I do that? How do I rent it out? How do I put it on Turo? How do I do all these things? Then I realized I was trying to solve for problems rather than get clearer on what it is that I really wanted. And what have I actually developed through this? Well, I, for one, this isn't everyone, love to get help, to delegate, to get supported. And how do I do that better? And so I've got a beautiful couple who are our neighbors who I've been gifting them services, and they've been gifting me their time and energy and expertise in this. She used to sell cars. He used to, he's very mechanically inclined and used to maintain things and build hot rods and all this stuff. And so they're helping me both to test drive, to look at, to evaluate, to rule out even beforehand, to help choose, and to help negotiate, help communicate, because sometimes I can get quite intense. If you haven't met me before, I can get quite intense about something I'm really passionate about, something I'm really attached to, something I really care about. And then going through the process of getting attached to a car, really wanting it, and then not being able to get it, having it get sold. And then trying out new things. I wanted to try out an old Lexus. Oh man, Lexus LX 570. It's like, sweet. 13, 14 years old, but perfect. And I missed out on it because I was probably too intense, negotiating, not clear, didn't have the money here. All these different things. And then I wanted this beautiful older Sequoia as well. Amazing, big car, all this stuff. And for some reason, something didn't happen as well. And I had to have my heart broken in a way and be able to feel the impact of that, the weight of that, and then feel the excitement of that and the loss of that. And then realize, what is my priority here? Is it really finding that dream car? Or is it finding something practical, resellable, something that works really well right now? And that's actually where I'm aiming right now, at a really good price point where it feels really comfortable. Then how do I get support so that the price of it isn't such a sticker shock? So I asked for help from the family. Not that we needed it, I wanted it. And so grateful I asked for that, because they were more than happy to support. And there's the giving and the receiving. And then There's the whole process of it, getting money over here. We learned about the banks, how hard it is to transfer money, how much the fees are, what are better ways to do it, how hard it is to get cash out of the bank, how hard it is to create a cashier's check when you don't have an account. All these little roadblocks are reminders of the system, and I'm going to say it this way, what tools and different kinds of digital money, and the biggest one I'm going to keep pointing back to is Bitcoin, can do to make this transaction, this movement easier, simpler, cutting out all the different middlemen that are getting in the way, all the different regulations that are getting in the way. Because money is supposed to be a tool for making transacting simpler, for being able to store time and energy and value so they can be deployed differently at another time, where it can actually be a common language that we speak. And how uncommon is the language of different currencies, different banks, different systems, different fees, different exchanges, different everything. And the holding times, the restrictions, the rules, all these things. And it's not that I can't see their purpose. How do we prevent fraud? How do we prevent loss? How do we prevent ... But how do we actually have a fluidity in the system where there are options? And then to keep coming back to, I was noticing my attachment, my energy drain, my distraction. And is this how I really want to spend my life? And if I'm ever going to go in a place where I dive in and notice the places where my edges are, I want to do that in these bigger purchases. And I want to use this as a practice for the house purchase, the Citadel purchase in the future. And I will use this to extrapolate back to the smaller purchases. How do I shift that? And then how do I notice that every single purchase, every single transaction takes time and energy, and which are the ones that are actually important? How do I actually really bring together people? And I've brought together this aspect to help create more trust. Trust in the money flow, trust in the handling of money, trust in the speaking of money. And money is such a delicate subject for so many of us based on our patternings from before. So I invite you to take a look at these big fucking purchases and how they might serve as tools, vehicles for you, how you might choose to enter it more deliberately, how you might take a look at it, how these are anchors as opposed to just tools. And that's part of it too. How do I both buy this and be so willing to let it go? Not making it mean something, not having it be an anchor while having it be an anchor as well. It's the dichotomy of it. I want to have an anchor here so that there's more incentive to come back because I do want to come back. Lots of love. Ciao for now.